Picture the moment, the fire is dying down, somebody just told a story about the hunt, and in that story, he was the hero. Then, one by one, everyone in the circle stops talking, and they are all looking at you, not with weapons drawn, not with fists raised, just silence. And that silence is about to do something to your nervous system that no punch ever could. Here's the paradox. Your ancestors had no police, no prisons, no judges in powdered wigs handing down sentences. And yet anthropologists who have spent decades actually living inside surviving hunter-gatherer societies keep finding the same strange thing. Violent crime, murder, casual bullying, all far rarer than you would expect from a species with zero official law enforcement. So how did people stay in line for 200,000 years without a single set of handcuffs? The answer is not simple. It is not one clever trick your ancestors stumbled onto around a single fire one night. It is a whole hidden justice system, layered, escalating, built entirely out of psychology instead of steel bars, and it is still running quietly inside your brain right now, whether you realize it or not. Let's start with the quiet stuff first, the stuff that happens long before anyone ever raises a hand or even their voice. Anthropologist Christopher Boehm spent years studying surviving foraging groups, from the Kalahari Desert to the Arctic Circle, and he noticed something almost every one of them had in common. Nobody was in charge. No chief, no king, no single person handing down sentences from a throne. Instead, the entire group functioned like one giant nervous system, constantly, quietly monitoring for anyone getting too big for their loincloth, someone bragging too loudly about a big kill, mocked immediately, right to his face, someone hoarding meat instead of sharing it, teased relentlessly in front of everyone until they cracked and shared. Boehm called this a reverse dominance hierarchy, which is a fancy academic phrase for one very simple idea. The group actively, deliberately, constantly works to keep any single person from becoming powerful enough to boss everyone else around. Sounds almost harmless, right? Just some ribbing around a campfire, except that ribbing was doing something deadly serious underneath the jokes. It was rehearsing everyone involved for a much bigger threat down the line. Because gossip, it turns out, was only step one of a much longer process. Step two is where it stops being funny and starts getting personal. Imagine you do not take the hint. You keep hoarding, you keep bragging. Now the group stops laughing with you and starts looking straight through you instead. Nobody offers you a seat by the fire. Nobody shares food with you at the next kill. You exist, technically, still inside the group's territory, and yet somehow you have become completely invisible to everyone in it. This is ostracism, and psychologist Kipling Williams has spent an entire career proving it is not some minor social inconvenience you shrug off. In his experiments, ordinary people were left out of a simple game of catch, played virtually with total strangers they would never meet in real life for reasons that meant absolutely nothing, and their brains reacted as if they had been physically assaulted. Brain scans lit up in regions tied to genuine physical pain, the exact same circuitry that fires when you stub your toe or slam your hand in a car door. Think about that for a second. Your own brain cannot reliably tell the difference between being punched and being ignored. To your nervous system, social exclusion registers as an actual injury, which means your ancestors never needed a single weapon to punish someone effectively. They just needed to stop looking at them. For most people, that was more than enough. Most people caved fast, apologized, started sharing the meat again, quietly rejoined the circle. But what happened when someone refused? Again and again, no matter how loud the silence got, this is where the story stops being about hurt feelings and starts being about survival, both theirs and everyone else's. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham and his colleague Luke Glowacki dug through decades of first-hand accounts from hunter-gatherer societies across multiple continents, hunting for the true nuclear option, the punishment reserved for when gossip and ostracism had both already failed completely. What they found was not a courtroom drama with a judge banging a gavel. It was quieter than that, and honestly far more chilling. When one person became a genuine, repeated danger to the entire group, a serial bully, a habitual thief, someone with an uncontrollable violent temper that kept putting others at risk, the group did not hold a loud public vote. There was no trial, no formal announcement, no dramatic speech. Instead, a small handful of that man's own relatives and closest companions would quietly agree among themselves in private that he had to go. And then, without warning, without ceremony, they would kill him. Wrangham argues this was not random chaos breaking out. It functioned as an ancient, deeply unofficial death penalty, carried out by quiet consensus instead of by any single king or ruler. And it may have shaped human evolution itself, generation after generation, slowly filtering the most uncontrollably aggressive men out of the gene pool entirely. There is one documented case that makes this whole idea feel a lot less theoretical. Anthropologist Richard Lee, working with the Juhuansi people of the Kalahari in the 20th century, recorded the story of a man the group nicknamed Twi, a repeat killer who had already been responsible for multiple deaths in the camp and showed no sign of stopping. The community did not send for a magistrate because there was no magistrate to send for. Instead, according to Lee's account, the men of the camp collectively agreed the threat had to end and acted together as a group rather than leaving the decision or the danger to any single person. Everyone shared the responsibility. Nobody carried the guilt alone. That detail matters because it tells you this was never mob violence in the chaotic sense you are picturing. It was closer to a jury, a judge, and an executioner, fused into one quiet, unanimous decision made by people who had known each other their entire lives. Compare that to what you have actually seen on screen 100 times. Now here is where Hollywood has been lying to you this entire time. Every Caveman movie shows you basically the same scene. A hulking brute swinging a club, ruling purely through fear. The strongest man simply makes the rules and everyone else bows down to him. It is a fantastic visual for a movie poster. It is also almost the exact opposite of how any of this actually worked. The strongest, most aggressively dominant individual in the group was not the one running the show. He was, statistically, the one most likely to end up quietly voted off the island permanently by his own family. Real hunter-gatherer justice looked far more like a court made up of the entire community, running almost entirely on gossip, humiliation, temporary exile, and only as an absolute last resort option, lethal consensus. Bullies did not inherit the throne in this version of history. They got quietly erased from it. So why should any of this matter to you? Sitting here right now, phone in hand, no fire crackling nearby, no spear within reach, no tribe waiting around the coals to judge your every move. Because that exact machinery is still fully installed inside your skull today. Every time a group chat goes cold on someone the moment they overshare. Every time an office quietly stops inviting one coworker to lunch after one too many stolen ideas. Every time a stranger's post goes viral for all the wrong reasons and thousands of people who will never once meet them pile on in the comments section. That is not some brand new phenomenon invented by the internet. That is Boehm's reverse dominance hierarchy running at planetary scale, at the speed of Wi-Fi. Cancel culture, workplace freeze-outs, the silent treatment from someone you love. None of these are modern inventions dreamed up by a generation raised on smartphones. They are ancient software, still running perfectly on brand new hardware. Your brain still treats a group's collective silence as a direct threat to your survival, because for almost the entire history of your species, it genuinely was one. And it goes deeper than just adults policing other adults. Children raised in these same societies grew up watching this entire system play out around them year after year, long before they ever broke a rule themselves. A kid who saw an uncle get mocked for hoarding, or watched an ant get frozen out for bragging, learned the lesson without anyone ever sitting them down to explain it. Fit in, share what you have, do not tower over anyone else for too long, or the group itself becomes your punishment. That lesson did not disappear when humans moved into houses and started locking their doors at night. It just changed its delivery method. From a fire circle to a group chat, from a hushed camp to a comment section that never actually sleeps. So the next time you feel that very specific dread of a room going quiet the second you walk in, or a message left sitting on read for just a little too long, pay attention to what your body already knows, even if your conscious mind has long since forgotten it. You are not just being ignored, you are back around the fire, and the whole circle is deciding right now tonight whether you get to stay.